There was a time when the planet breathed in silence, a time before any human voice would call it home. Here, forests were not collections of trees, but entire oceans of green, and the seas themselves were boundless expanses of liquid light. Life flourished in every conceivable form, free, wild, and ancient. This was the Cretaceous period, an epoch ruled by colossi. Creatures of such impossible scale, they seemed not born of flesh, but sculpted by the gods themselves. On the vast plains, herds of cardos believer. In the skies, immense pterosantooth reigned over silent, abyssal kingdom. But on the land, one shadow fell longer than all others, the Tyrannosaurus rex. 2 tons of muscle, claw, and fang, animated by an instinct as ancient as the earth itself. It was a world of brutal perfection. Every creature held its place. Every heartbeat served a purpose. The great herbivores fed upon the immense ferns and conifers that blanketed entire continents. The carnivores hunted in the half-light of dawn, when the morning light colored blood and dew with the same crimson hue. It was balance. It was life. It was pure, untamed power. And yet, even within this primal harmony, destiny was quietly gathering its forces. None among these beings could know that every step, every breath, every glance toward the sky would be the last of a world. High above them, far beyond the familiar blue, in the cold and total darkness of space, something had begun to stir. A solitary fragment of rock, born from the collision of ancient celestial bodies, had been set upon its course. For millions of years it traveled, a silent, invisible, and inevitable messenger of change, crossing the great asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Below, the planet spun on, utterly unaware. Seasons turned in their slow, majestic rhythm. Mountains rose in geological time, and oceans shifted in a continental dance. It was a living world, but a vulnerable one. And in that cosmic immensity, a single speck from the heavens was all it would take to change everything. That speck was coming, and nothing could stop it. Beneath that placid sky, the earth seethed with its own internal energy. Volcanoes erupted along chains of fire, their lava flows drawing the maps of new continents. Every tremor, every explosion was a breath taken by the planet itself, a world in constant, violent flux, where life was forced to adapt, to grow, to multiply. Across the great northern flatlands, herds of ankylosaurs moved with ponderous, deliberate weight, the bony armor on tars, their resonant calls echoing the undergrowth, quick and curious, while more agile predators lay hidden among the ferns. And in the forests, a quiet revolution was underway. For the first time, new species of plants were beginning to flower, adding splashes of vibrant color to the endless green. It was a world in transition, a symphony of creation and destruction, unaware that its final unwritten note was already hurtling through the darkness, ready to bring an end to the age of giants and return the land once more to silence. In a world unwritten by human history, insects, the planet's first and most tireless aviators, ferried pollen between flowers of an ancient and unfamiliar design. The air itself hummed with a primal energy, a symphony of microscopic life, and in the skies above, there echoed the beat of wings that had not yet learned the meaning of fear. Among the colossal ferns and cycads, the first true birds were mastering the sky, their tentative flights a bold experiment in evolution. The microraptor, a living shadow adorned with feathers of iridescent black, would not soar, but glide. It launched itself from the high branches, a dark arrow cutting through shafts of sunlight that of giants. The smallest of mammals carved out a life in the shadows. They were cautious, wary, their hearts beating a rapid rhythm of survival. Yet they were the quiet stewards of a future they could not possibly comprehend. This was a planet teeming with motion and with voice, a constant, brutal, and beautiful cycle of birth and death. An intricate web of existence, a fragile equilibrium suspended over the invisible abyss of cosmic chance. Every creature, every plant, played its part in a perfectly functioning, self-regulating system. It was a world so complete, so intricately woven, that perhaps only a cataclysm of cosmic proportions could serve as its final act. And from the deep void, that final act was approaching. A traveler of stone and ice, after a journey of millions of years and billions of kilometers, had entered the Earth's celestial neighborhood. It slipped past the orbit of the Moon, a silent witness to the final leg of an ancient voyage. The planet's gravity reached out, a final, inescapable embrace, pulling the visitor from its path and accelerating it toward a fatal appointment. Its trajectory tilted, aimed now at the heart of the atmosphere. Before it, the air, thin and unsuspecting, began to compress. It became a superheated plasma shield, hotter than the surface of the sun. The asteroid's own surface became incandescent. From the ground, for those few creatures who might have looked up, it was no longer a distant star, but a continuous, searing trail, growing brighter with every passing second. Only moments remained before it would strike the denser layers of the sky. Then, it became fire. A burning globe, growing impossibly large. A new and terrible sun, launched at over 70,000 kilometers per hour. A body a mere 10 kilometers wide, yet it carried a destructive force beyond any weapon humanity would ever conceive. An energy greater than the world's entire nuclear arsenal detonated at a single point. Its target? A shallow sea off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, in the land we now call Mexico. There, where the ocean curved to form a perfect, tranquil arc, destiny was about to strike. Below, the dinosaurs lived out their final dawn. None looked up. There was no frame of reference, no ancestral memory, to comprehend the celestial messenger of their doom. But the world itself felt the approach. The sky began to shift in color, taking on an unnatural metallic hue. The chorus of birdsong ceased. The great herbivores froze mid-stride, a sudden collective stillness, as if the planet itself were holding its breath. Then came the light, a flash that erased the sun, a silent, impossible brilliance that bleached the D itself. For a fraction of a second, time seemed to stop. The asteroid tore through the last 100 kilometers of atmosphere in less than a breath. Its wake set the very air ablaze, igniting the day with the light of 1,000 suns. And then, it hit. The shallow sea did not splash. It exploded upwards, vaporized into superheated steam in an instant. The impact unleashed the energy of more than 100 million megatons of TNT. The planet's crust momenized. In a radius of 1,000 kilometers, nothing survived the initial blast. A shockwave, a visible wall of compressed air, raced outwards across the globe, scouring the surface clean. Forests that had stood for millennia bent, then vanished, incinerated where they stood. The air itself became a roiling wave of flame. From the wound in the earth, a wall of water, born from a boiling sea and standing more than a kilometer in height, rose up and began its inexorable march across the oceans. Trillions of tons of molten rock and superheated metal were hurled into the sky, thrown on ballistic trajectories that would carry them to the far corners of the world. The Great Tsunami would cross the Atlantic in hours, erasing coastlines thousands of kilometers away. The seas would rise and fall, a planetary death rattle, dragging everything into their depths. The planet, in that moment, was transformed into a single, silent scream. But this was not the end. This was only the beginning. From the heavens, fragments of light began to fall. They were not stars. They were the dismembered pieces of the planet itself, bedrock and crust, hurled beyond the thin veil of the atmosphere by a force beyond comprehension. Now, after a silent, arcing journey through the vacuum of space, they returned home. They returned as incandescent missiles. At first, they were isolated flashes against a sky already darkening with smoke and vapor. Then, the flashes multiplied, coalescing into a steady, horrifying rain of fire. Thousands upon thousands of tiny projectiles, each a superheated remnant of the initial cataclysm, streaked through the tortured air. The distinction between day and night dissolved into a single, unending inferno, a twilight illuminated not by the sun, but by a world burning. The Earth, in the hours after impact, was a fundamentally altered place. The familiar blue sky was gone, replaced by a bruised ceiling of soot and flame. Sunlight could no longer penetrate the suffocating blanket of debris. This rain of glowing rock continued, not for minutes, but for hours, and then for days. Each fragment that struck the ground was a new spark, igniting new firestorms that raced across continents. Ancient forests, ecosystems that had stood for millennia, vanished in a single fiery exhalation. The oceans, once a sanctuary of life, began to boil at their surface, releasing vast plumes of toxic steam into the atmosphere. Animals sought refuge, but there was no refuge to be found. The air itself had become fire. The ground was flash melted into glass. On the surface of the planet, the temperature surged past 1,000 degrees. The entire world was a furnace, so hot that even solid rock began to deform. The concussive force of the impact did not simply stop. The shockwave, an invisible wall of unimaginable power, circumnavigated the globe again and again, its echoes rebounding between mountain ranges and ocean flowquakes, tearing the land apart as if the world itself were trying to shed the agony of its wound. The scar of this celestial violence, a wound 100 miles across, lay hidden beneath the churning sea, but its effects were felt everywhere. With every vibration, something was erased: a forest, a lake, a species, a breath. In a matter of hours, entire ecosystems, intricate and ancient, were annihilated. The day turned to black, and into this profound darkness, the ash began to fall. It was a fine, dense powder, a mixture of pulverized rock, vaporized asteroid, and the soot of a burning world. It descended silently, relentlessly, covering everything in a uniform gray shroud. It settled on the poisoned seas, on the charred remains of the forests, on the open, unblinking eyes of the fallen giants. This was the dust of an ending. And yet, even as the planet burned and choked, something endured. Deep underground, in subterranean rivers, in the safety of burrows, small pockets of life clung on. Not the titans who had ruled for 100 million years, but the small, the overlooked, the forgotten. Insects, amphibians, and in the mud, in hollow logs, in crevices between the rocks. Their size, their humility, had become their salvation. And there, in the suffocating dark, a new future was beginning to take shape. The dust from the impact did not settle quickly. It remained suspended in the upper atmosphere for months, which stretched into years, blocking the life-giving light of the sun. The world plunged into an eternal twilight, a nuclear winter without the bomb. The planet's trapped heat radiated away into space, and temperatures plummeted. The winds, once warm, now carried only ash, sulfur, and the chill of death. The foundational process of life on Earth was severed. Photosynthesis stopped. Deprived of light, the planet's flora began to die, from the simplest plankton to the mightiest trees. With the plants gone, the great herbivores starved, and when they fell, the predators wought them up. An age was ending not with a roar, but with a final, lingering silence, beneath a sky that had forgotten the sun. In the wreckage of one world, another was waiting to be born. The king is dead. Through a skeletal forest of carbonized trees, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, once the undisputed apex of its world, now stalks a ghost. Its footsteps, which once sent tremors of fear through the land, now fall upon a carpet of gray ash. Hunger, a hollow ache unknown in generations of plenty, is its only companion. Across the poisoned plains, the last of the Triceratops wander. The great herds, once majestic rivers of horn and bone, have been reduced to solitary, exhausted figures. Their magnificent frills, built for display and defense, offer no protection from the relentless cold that has seeped into the planet's very core. Their breath plumes in the frigid air, a final fading signal of a dynasty's end. The Earth, for 66 million years a vibrant cradle of reptilian life, has become a frozen, silent tomb. Beneath the waves, an even deeper silence has fallen. The sun, a distant, muffled memory behind a shroud of impact dust, can no longer reach the ocean's surface. The great blooms of algae, the very foundation of marine existence, have withered into nothing. With their demise, the intricate chains of life, forged over eons, shatter link by link. The ancient sea monsters, the mosasaurs and the plesiosaurs, rulers of the Cretaceous seas, are gone, suffocated not by a predator, but by the sheer, crushing absence of life in a dark, liquid void. One by one, the giants vanish. Their end is not a singular, fiery event, but a slow, merciless attrition. A war fought over decades, perhaps centuries, against a world that has turned against them. For each species, there is a final footstep left in the mud, a final, ragged breath drawn into failing lungs, a final gaze upon a sky that offers no warmth, no hope. The planet, once thrumming with colossal life, now breathes only ash. Yet beneath this gray pall, something stirs. In the burrows, in the crevices, in the deep, quiet dark, a different kind of heart beats. A small, warm-blooded heart, belonging to a creature that has spent its entire existence in the shadows of giants. This is the first pulse of the future. Years bleed into decades. The fine dust, ejected from the wound in the earth half a world away, begins its slow descent. Through the thinning veil of death, a faint spectral light returns. The sun, pale and tentative, touches the surface once more. The frost begins to recede. Upon a muted, traumatized landscape, the first true light of a new world dawns. A world without dinosaurs. A world waiting to begin again. At first, there is only the silence, then a whisper. A light breeze traverses the gray plain into fall, washing the blackened ground, cleansing the wounds. The water seeps into the cracks, and there, deep below, it finds forgotten seeds, survivors locked in a state of suspended animation. Against all logic, against all odds, they germinate. Life returns. It is not the triumphant roar of the past, but a quiet, fragile unfolding. Mosses cling to the bare rock. The coiled fronds of ferns, nature's first pioneers, push through the scorched earth between the trunks of burnt-out trees. Small, unassuming flowers open their petals to a light their ancestors had never known. The planet takes a new breath. The insects are the vet and the mammals who have waited patiently in the darkness for their moment. Those who once lived in hiding now inherit the plains. Where the earth once shook beneath the tread of titans, now there are the light, agile, silent movements of creatures built for a different world. The age of reptiles is over. The age of mammals has begun. The darkness dissolves. Light returns to fill the sky, as if time itself has resumed breathing. The wounded, transformed planet begins to heal. The mountains continue their imperceptible rise. The oceans shift in their base of the old. And with them, life returns to its intricate dance. The biosphere, having passed through the crucible of extinction, is now seeded with a new kind of resilience, a new adaptability. The Earth has not forgotten. It carries the memory of what happened, etched into its very strata, in the thin, dark line of iridium that encircles the globe. It remembers in the fossils, in the bones buried beneath millions of years of silence. For destruction is never just an end. It is a violent clearing of the stage, making way for the next act in the long, extraordinary, and unending story of life itself. Every mountain range we cross, every ancient stone we lift from the soil, is a silent monument to a single, catastrophic day. 66 million years ago, the world held its breath as time itself seemed to fracture. The Great Extinction was not merely an ending, It was a violent, elemental reset. A cosmic fire that cleared the slate for what was to come. From the ash and ruin, from the very crucible of planetary devastation, the seeds of our own story were sown. Upon that scarred, recovering Earth, a new kind of being would eventually arise. A creature that could look to the heavens not with instinct, but with inquiry. A being capable of memory, of purpose, of dreaming beyond survival. The Chicxulub impact did not annihilate life, it sculpted it. The reign of titans ended, clearing the way for the small, the furtive, the mammals who hid in the shadows of a fallen world. It was not the end of life, but the violent, improbable beginning of us. And so the clock that stopped on that day has ticked forward, its rhythm carrying us to this very moment. It serves as a profound reminder that existence is not a straight line, but a cycle of magnificent destruction and improbable rebirth. For life does not surrender. It adapts, it endures, it begins again.